Alright, we're at E3. We snuck away from the show floor up here to the PlayStation Lounge to take a look at Tearaway. I'm here with Rex. So Rex, can you explain what is Tearaway for people who haven't played before and what's new and Unfolded?
Sure. So Tearaway is an adventure through a world made entirely out of paper. It's a very responsive, very different game. You know, it's not like a kind of the world that you maybe would have explored before. And what we've done for Tearaway Unfolded is completely redesigned it for the PS4 to like fully use the increased technical power of the hardware, but most importantly to us to really use the DualShock 4 so that you can have like very different interactions on the game using the touchpad, using the light bar, using all of the new hardware tech that's available to us now.
How was it for you guys to go back to this game? Because like we see people who get to do remakes, but this is a sort of different thing where you maybe get to like do things that you didn't get to do before.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, there's a process of adding in a lot of the stuff that we didn't necessarily have time to do, adding in the things that we couldn't do because of like hardware limitations, adding in some of the wilder ideas that just wouldn't have been possible. Yeah, and just really sort of expanding the world out, adding in more characters, more side quests, you know, more things to really kind of do that journey a real service to, you know, so that all players can enjoy it.
All right, so for people who haven't played it, you know, it's going to be a great experience. But do you think for people who've played the Vita version, is that, you know, will it be worth going back? Is there enough new stuff?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's every playthrough that you have, it's a little different because you are doing so many creative things while you're playing the game. And this time round, we've added in a new app feature. So if you have the PlayStation app, you can have additional players like sitting on the couch with you, and they've all got their own versions of like the in-game cutting mat where they're doing crafting stuff, adding in photos, like changing the landscape for you. So it's kind of more of a group experience this time as well.
All right, and this is a very beloved game. It's one of my personal favorites. Have you been able to use any of the feedback you've gotten from fans to sort of use that in Unfolded?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we've tweaked elements, like some of the combat has changed quite a lot. We felt that on the Vita that you weren't always able to use like the god powers enough. So this time round, we've really widened it out so that you can. Some of the new behaviors like using the changing wind where you swipe on the touchpad, shining into the game and hypnotizing the enemies. They're things that you can do for like huge parts of the game, not just in like specific little moments. So, you know, it just allows players to really play with it a lot more than they possibly could before.
Is this a game where you have been able to, you know, you've been able to play around with the PS4 and the DualShock? Is that something you've been able to use in your next projects and anything that inspired you in that way?
Well, I think as a studio, we always want to explore PlayStation hardware and like really just make the most of what it gives us. So, you know, we just can't resist like adding in or playing around with like motion control and you know, new changes on the DualShock. So any hardware that kind of falls into our office, we start tinkering with as soon as we get our hands on it.
Is that how you start with games? Is it let's do something with this hardware, or is it like I have an idea for let's do paper crafting?
I think you need to combine two things really. You need like a big idea, like some way of, like for Tearaway it was like making something that was very responsive, very tactile, and making it out of paper in order to achieve that. But as soon as you've set that parameter and you know the kind of, it's basically sort of setting the theme for the game jam, and then everyone on the team can get involved and like try out their own little experiments on ways to like make that idea come to life and then hone it and form it into something that is like a very tangible experience. You know, so you're not feeling like you're playing a bunch of mini games, but you're really having a well-rounded adventure.
All right, and when is the game coming out?
It's out at the beginning of September the 9th, I think.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
At last, now a real story